Joining us once again for the interview is Stacey Abrams. She is the founder of both Fair Fight, which works to fight voter suppression, and Fair Count, which works to ensure an accurate count in the census. Ms. Abrams, thanks again for being back with us. One of the reasons 2020 is such a hugely important year is that it's a census year. Census is how we get congressional districts, which is how we get who's in control in Washington. 2 days ago, the president signed a memorandum stating that we should change how we apportion congressional districts out of the census. We should make it citizenship dependent, which is not what the Constitution says. This strikes me as something that the president has both tried to do before, that's blatantly unconstitutional, that he's not likely to get away with. How important is this as a sort of structural effort to try to entrench Republican power?
Well, as you pointed out numerous times, sometimes it's what he does and sometimes it's what's behind what he's doing. I agree with you that the legality of his executive memo is likely going to fail in the courts. But what he's really trying to do at the same time is discourage communities of color, immigrants, refugees, and writ large communities of color from participating in the census. Right now, we're about 4% behind the response rate where we were in 2010, but for Black and Latino and Native American communities, they're behind by 10%. Using this as a threat to say to immigrants, do not complete this, you heighten the likelihood that the census will look whiter, which tends to mean that the voting power is more Republican. And he is trying to scare people out of participation. But we have to understand that if the census is not accurate, the cost is spread across communities. It doesn't just hurt communities of color. It could decimate budgets, especially in the midst of COVID recovery.
Stacey Abrams, one of the things that I feel like is sometimes missed when people do national profiles of you and write about you in terms of your political potential and your political leadership is that people don't get what a good teacher and explainer you are, which is absolutely the heart and soul of persuasion. It's part of the reason I always enjoy talking to you, especially about complicated stuff. Stacey Abrams, thank you so much for being here tonight. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me, Rachel.
All right, we've got much more ahead here tonight. Stay with us.